Excuse my fluffy blue house coat while I talk about an issue. But yeah, fluffy blue house coats are comfy. Anyways, so I often forget what videos I've made on what because I just make them so often whenever I have an opinion or something. And I know I've talked about feminism before, but I don't think I've talked about it like as an explicit like video just to talk about it and explain things about it. I've just kind of talked about aspects of it. So let me tell you what feminism is and isn't. So feminism, if you just look up the definition, means that you believe that women should be equal to men. That's it. Like, you think that pretty much you just want everyone to be equal regardless of what what gender, sex, or whatever the hell they are. So how does that mean that feminists hate men? Because that's often the stigma, is that, you know, if you're a feminist, you hate men. But if you're a feminist, that means you just think everyone should be equal. And when I say equal, I mean equal in all aspects, including equally accountable. So the idea that women are weak, defenseless damsels, and men are the big, strong whatever, so which means that society thinks that men can't be raped by women, men can't be abused or beaten up or assaulted or whatever the hell, is bullshit. And we're saying, no, women are just as capable of committing these things as men are. And you know, because basically when people say, it's like, well, men have all this stuff too, like women get to, it's because it's the idea that women aren't capable of doing these things to men. So that's where that happens. It's because women are too weak and defenseless and, you know, frilly, whatever the fuck. And then, you know, the next one is that they say, well, women get more, like, win more cases with child custody and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, that's because the classic gender roles is that the man works and the woman takes care of the kids. So if they're going to choose a parent to get the custody to take care of the kids, who the fuck are they going to choose according to that system? The woman. Which is bullshit, because, I mean, you know, some women are better suited to be being the breadwinner, and some men are better suited to do the childbearing or child rearing or whatever the fuck the term is for raising kids. I don't know. I think childbearing, I don't know if that relates to actually giving birth. Anyways. But yeah, so, I mean, because different people are capable of different things. And then, sorry. And another issue is, even if the woman is the one who's working mostly, and then they, you know, is the breadwinner, which is the person who's making the main income, and the dad will be working part-time or not at all maybe, and then she is still expected to take care of the kids and do the cleaning up, and that's bullshit, because the person who works, if there's a person in the relationship who works and then another person who doesn't work nearly as much or as hard or has way more free time, it would make way more sense for that person to be doing the rest of the shit, right? Or at least most of it. But the woman is the one who has to take care of the house and the kids and all that other crap. So that's bullshit. Now, on all this discussion, we keep on saying between men and women, and a lot of faux feminists, as I call them, or not just me, but people call them, you see all this shit is like vagina, penis, men, women type deal, or women, men, whatever the fuck. And that's bullshit. Because not everyone with a vagina is a woman, and not everyone with a penis is a man. Hi, welcome to trans and intersex things that exist. So, there's all sorts of, like I was just reading this article, complaining about another article, about this woman who's like, saying how you're all feminists. I mean, if you have a vagina and you want to take care of it, you're a feminist. So I'm like, not take care of it, take charge of it, sorry. Hopefully you take care of your vagina if you have one. But anyways, and it's like, well, sorry, but men can be feminists, and that's completely excluding trans women, if you're just talking about women. So, that's bullshit. And you could have a vagina and not be a woman. But it doesn't mean that you don't think that women should have equal rights. I mean, come on. So, like, I found that a little bit like, no. And the person, so remember, there's an article talking about that article. The person talking about that article also said that was bullshit. Because the person who wrote the article about the shitty article was trans herself. So, like, yeah. And, yeah, so, anyone can be a feminist. You don't have to be a woman, you don't have to have a vagina to be a feminist. Basically, being a feminist means that you think that everyone should be treated equally regardless of gender. That's pretty simple. And I mean, all those like pictures on Twitter and whatnot, they're saying like this is what feminists look like. In case you haven't noticed, not all of them are women. And if you think, and then there's some people who think that, you know, women have equal rights. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, but there are stories of freaking two-way mirrors in club bathrooms. Which guys can pay to go watch girls in the fucking bathroom, which is fucking creepy. There's all sorts of shit, like in the States, you know, 77 cents to the dollar. And I'll get back on that in a second when I talk about another issue. And the fact that, at work, even here in Canada, I've talked about this before, I know I have, because it's a fucking thing that pissed me off for like the whole year and a half I was working. Wait, was it 2 years? I don't know, I was working there for a while. Anyways, so, where they would rather have, like when I was working there, I was 19, 20, and I had 3 years equipment handler experience and full health and safety training, yet they would get all like, oh no, you're gonna hurt yourself, when I would lift up a frickin' 5-pound car seat. My cat weighs more than that. Yes, he's really overweight, but anyways. But yeah, like, except, and what was really bad is that with the heavy stuff too, or even that stuff, they would rather have a 60-year-old man with a bad back, and he got that bad back for working at that company for 6 years, lifting with his back instead of doing what I always do, which is keep the back straight, crouch down, and then stand up, because that way you don't hurt your back. You lift with your legs instead of your back, which is what you're supposed to do, which is what I learned in health and safety training, which none of the men had. I did, but they didn't, because I had it from a previous work experience where I got 3 years equipment handler experience. Ta-da! Anyways, because I was a woman, and I was so fragile, and I was gonna hurt myself, even though the men were constantly getting injured because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And I was bitching about this, and it turns out it was because it was more expensive to cover men and women than it was cheaper for the insurance plan, because it was a family business, so they couldn't afford the great big whatever. So it was cheaper for them to get the limited insurance coverage, so that only men were covered if they got injured at work, not women. So that's why they didn't want me doing anything, because if the men get injured, then it's covered. But if a woman gets injured, then they're up shit creek without a paddle, and that's fucking bullshit. So yeah, because like oftentimes we'd have to have the customer waiting forever for the one male cause, because it was mostly women working there. It was only a few men, if that. Like at one location there was men, at the other locations there weren't, and I worked at all 3 locations. And so we would have to wait frickin' forever until a man was freed up to do the heavy lifting, when there was a perfectly capable young woman here who could do it. And I'm not talking about heavy shit. We did sell furniture, and we did sell some pretty heavy strollers, but I mean, the heaviest stroller was like 50 pounds, and I managed to carry that from the top floor of the warehouse in the back, down the stairs, and across the whole frickin' store, out the door, and put into the guy's truck, because I'm fucking strong, okay? I'm a woman, but I have muscles, imagine that. But yeah, so, and then, okay, remember I mentioned the dollar thing. It's interesting with a lot of the white feminism. No, white feminist. I'm a white feminist, yeah, but I'm not a white exclusive feminist. Did you know that whole 70 cents, 77 whatever the fuck to the dollar thing is even worse if you're not white? Black women make 67 cents to the dollar, and I think there's a few, and I think native, or I don't know, like it's even like it's less and less, and like you make less and less to the dollar or some shit, and it's like, okay, that's really fucked up. But if you're a white woman, you make 77 cents. You make a little bit more than your fellow women if they're a different race than you, which is fucking bullshit. I'm using that word a lot because the way things are is fucking bullshit. So yeah, there's that, and so yeah, I've talked about like how there's, when it comes to feminism, it's not just men and women, and kind of oftentimes it looks at the white people, so it's kind of fucking bullshit. But there's also, you can't, the thing that got this whole thing going was, you can't be a feminist if you're transphobic, you can't be a feminist if you're racist, you can't be and the 2 other ones are, you can't be a feminist if you're ableist, and you can't be a feminist if you're against reproductive rights. Reproductive rights means a right to birth control and, if necessary, abortion. So, yeah, you can't really be a feminist, because then that's saying that you're only somewhat okay for equality, not total equality. Because it should be that every single woman is equal to every single man and everything in between. Because not everyone's a woman or a man. So yeah, like, if you're saying that, you know, if you're against any of that, it's like, no, fuck you, it's bullshit. And the whole pro-choice argument, I hate so much when people, it's like, you're killing a baby and whatever else. It's like, well, if I were to die, that baby would too, and you're making me so depressed I want to kill myself. So, would you rather we both die, or what? And also, and in case you're like, well, that's just fucking bullshit with the freaking mental health. Another thing, you can't be like saying that like people with mental illness, you know, like they're just, well, I guess that's in the ableism, because yeah, anyways, ableist, in case you have never heard that word before, means that you are discriminatory against those with disabilities, including like mental and physical disabilities. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, and again with the whole pro-choice, you literally cannot take the organs from a dead body to save another person's life unless the person gave consent before dying. So why is it that I have to save this little baby that's not even a whole baby yet life? Like, why is it that I have, in your view, less bodily autonomy? Sorry. Choice over what happens with my body and who I help other people with who need parts of my body to survive. Why is it that I should have less of that control over how much of my body I give to someone else to help them survive, to allow them to survive, than a corpse? You're literally saying that women have less right to their own organs than a corpse. It's fucking bullshit. See, I'm pro-choice. That doesn't mean I'm pro-abortion. Again, I probably could never have an abortion myself because shit, but that's myself. And except, again, I've never actually fully been in that situation, and I'll be honest. When I got raped 2 years ago, and my period was like almost a week late, I was freaking the fuck out, understandably. And I was actually looking at, like, because the surgical abortion I probably wouldn't be able to do, but the pill, which is you take it within, like, the first month or two of pregnancy, and then it just flushes out the little bundle of cells, hasn't even developed anything even visible by the naked eye. So I felt like that was a bit more feasible. So, yeah. And if you say you're killing God's kids, if he knew, which I find really stupid, because if a child who's actually been born and shit dies, then, you know, oh, God killed him, it was in God's plan, and for him to die, and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, well, you're taking the choice, and whatever. It's like, well, okay, what about some person murdering the child? That's some person choosing to end that life. Like, isn't that the same shit? Except not really, because they're not fully a person yet, because they can't live on their own at all and stuff. Like, wouldn't God know if he knows everything that you were gonna kill that baby or that fetus? It's not really a baby yet. Okay, I've talked way too much, but way too much, because this video is like fucking 14 minutes long just about. So thanks for watching, and I know for a fact, I've actually stopped checking my comment notifications on this channel. I exclusively use my creepypasta channel now, because except for to upload this shit, because I just get so much, like, within half a day, I've reached the 100 mark of freaking comments, so, and that was, last time I checked, it was like a month or two ago, so, yeah, and I know I never get any nice comments on my videos. I all get hate, so I don't even bother anymore, because fuck it, I'm getting my voice out there. Whoever wants to listen can listen, but yeah, thanks for watching.